Hello, welcome to your weekly recap so that you can see what's in store for Brains... forgot the name of the podcast. That's tragic. Brains Unpicked, episode 24. So, first off, we've got a big story about pigeons that you're really, really going to want to hear. We then dive into like hierarchies within team departments and teeth. So, figure out how they link together. I know how you can figure that out. Listen, next we then dive into a little bit of psychology, and we look at the debate of nature and nurture, and we finish that off with a couple of would you rathers. So check that out just to dive right in. I'll see you over there.
Rosens away, overthink. Ask you questions, leave you on the brink. What's the point of existence? Welcome back to Brains Unpicked.
Hello and welcome back to Brains Unpicked. I'm Rose.
I'm Zoe.
And together we are two 20-something-year-olds who spiral about existence, ponder the realms and the universes, and just generally crash out about it all.
Yeah.
And you come with us.
You lovely listeners / viewers at home.
So let's get into it.
Let's go. Let's get down to business.
Let's get down to business.
To defeat
the Huns.
How many times have we done
I know,
that?
it's every
perfect.
time it's in my head. Yeah.
Okay, let's start. Just dive right into what has just happened to us. Scratch the minor inconveniences. This was major, right?
Yeah.
Scratch everything. We have got a tale to tell you, and I am not happy about it. I mean, Rose should be more unhappy about it than me. But yeah, so I'll set the scene. I arrived for filming the podcast, and Rose gave me the keys and was like, away you go, get set up. And I was like, perfect. I open the door and I go to walk down the stairs and I see feathers everywhere, and I see a warning, some sort of warning, don't know what the warning is. I see a pigeon carcass just on the stairs. And I'm filming at this point because I've just set up my own social media channel, so go and follow me. The links are going to be down below, so I'm going to try post more. Plug. So I'm filming and I just see this pigeon carcass and I'm like, Rose, there's a pigeon. However, Rose can't hear me because where were you, Rose?
I was in the lavatory.
And we all know that Rose has quite bad pee anxiety.
Yes.
And I'm coming running into her flat going, there's a pigeon carcass. There is a and she's like, what? And I'm like, there is a... How did that feel for you?
Well, I was like, to begin with, I only realised once you opened the door to the flat that I hadn't actually shut the door properly to the toilet. Listen, I'm a girly who lives alone. You don't often have to lock the door.
Listen, I don't even need to shut it.
Yeah. So I was like, shut the door, and then I couldn't hear what you were saying because I was also in the middle of listening to a voice note about a rant that you had just sent. So then all I could hear was like Zoe, like... And actually I was trying to pause the voice note and be like, what? And then I heard what you said and I was like, surely not. And I was like, can you go round it? No. Can you go over it? No. And I'm like, right, okay, well. And then I was like, well, I guess I have to finish peeing, but I'm hyper aware that you're stood there.
So I went onto TikTok.
Yeah. And then, I came out and was like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, how does one get rid of
a pigeon? So
yeah.
I stepped back and done nothing. I supported from afar. Because
I did feel supported.
I'm not even kidding. I didn't even take a step down to look at it. I saw it and went, I'm absolutely not. And do you know what it took me back to? We went on a... Did you hear a beeping noise?
No.
Okay, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, so I went on this school trip once and there was a sheep that had died on this school trip. And everyone was like, oh, there's a dead sheep. And we went over and like its ribs were exposed and it was missing an eye, and I burst into tears. And that became, like, I went straight back to that primary school version of me that was like, I'm going to cry. Like, why I'm not a vegetarian is beyond me. Like, I can't deal with that. That was too much. But Rose came to the rescue.
This thing was very decayed. Like, it's obviously been there for a while. I don't come down here unless we're filming. So, and we haven't been here for a couple of weeks anyway. So it's been there for a while probably. And when I went to move it, I was freaking out. I was trying to get it in. I was armed with like bin bags and kitchen rolls. And then I was trying to like get it into the bag without touching it, and then all these like beasties came fucking crawling out of it.
That's so gross.
And I hate beasties, and yeah, so I was then screaming. And so
I've been screaming from the beginning.
And then, but like screaming also, but then trying to be really supportive and be like, "You can do it." I'm like, "Fuck you."
I'm actually really impressed that you just stepped in action. You didn't even go, right, who's going to do this? I was like, we'll have to do this together, and then instantly ran away. I was like, have fun. On you go.
I have discovered there is something about me that if there's someone more pathetic than me, I can.
So how do you really feel?
Well, you know what I mean. Like, if that had been the other way around, I think you would have used that word.
No, I would not. Yeah. Listen, I'll help in many situations, but dead bodies and blood is where I...
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you would have used the word pathetic too.
I don't think it was pathetic behaviour. There was a literal dead body.
It was justified. But like, I mean, see, I can't...
I think I might have been sick.
I hate spiders, and
right. I'd always get a spider.
I can't deal with spiders unless there is someone there that's more scared of spiders than me. Yeah. I can deal with them calmly, but when there's not, if there's someone who I know that's gonna deal with it, I freak out. Or if I'm just by myself, I will deal with it, but I will scream the place down.
I drew the line. I was like, I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah.
It was where you were like, you can step over that, and I'm like, I am not stepping over that. I am not avoiding the dead body on the stairs in order to film the podcast. To be honest,
it was just like me just like waiting until it like goes away
we
forever.
We can never film. You would have got no episode this week had I not said, get rid of that.
It would have just been like the Pigeon Diaries of like forever checking. It's like, oh, can't. Awful. Sorry, guys. End of the season because there's still a pigeon.
The Brains Unpicked is no more due to Pigeon Gate. So I'm devastated. I'm really upset about it.
So am I.
Could we just have a moment
of silence?
I don't want to do full silence, but we'll take a wee 10 seconds. So we're not leaving. We're just having a moment for the pigeon. Please all join us. Great. We're gathered here today to commemorate the pigeon that bestowed itself to the stairs. We are devastated about the loss of this pigeon. Pigeons do hard work for society, and may it rest easy in Rosie's bin.
In a rose-scented bin. Can I just say, it does make me really sad, because I don't know if I can't remember if we've spoken about this before on this podcast, but the concept that pigeons make me really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you see ones that have got like sore feet and...
Do you know who don't make me sad? Seagulls.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel bad for pigeons.
Yeah.
My papa had a do hut when I was growing up, so we had a lot of experience around pigeons. He also had a budgie hut, which I think is weird, but whatever. Let me know if anyone else had a family member with a budgie hut that was just a hut full of budgies, because I'm not sure that's on the normal level. I knew someone with a budgie hut, and I can't think who that was now. Was it my papa?
Maybe. Who was that, actually?
I'm so glad I've never met anyone else that's had a budgie hut.
Yeah.
Right, well, yeah, so I don't know if you've got any other minor inconveniences, but I thought we really had to discuss that moment.
Yeah, we did have to unpack that. We had to get it out of the way.
That had to be unpicked and, like...
But fear not, now you know that there's nothing stopping us, unless there's, like, an actual real-life, like, human dead body.
Do you know what? I think I would have coped with that better.
I feel like I probably would have coped with that less well, because why the hell would there be a human dead body right outside my kitchen window?
I think I would have coped with that better than the pigeon.
Yeah, I can see that for you.
You're a crazy person.
But yeah, so that was traumatic.
That was a lot.
But we survived.
You did. High five. We're really bad at high fives.
We are. It's we're like too far away. Yeah.
Anyway, so let's crack on. Have you got anything else that you would like to minorly discuss? Pardon?
I mean, no. I think that got out of my system.
Well, let's just jump straight on to Brains Unpicked. Let's unpick that brain. What you got cooking up there?
So I've been thinking a lot about just like team hierarchy management things. Like,
this is dangerous territory.
No, so like not in the concept of like, so I've been watching The Bear recently.
Right, so this is controversial. I just don't know how I feel about I don't think I'm smart enough to enjoy The Bear.
You're absolutely smart enough, but it's not for everyone. I have to be in a certain mood to watch it because it's very, very shouty. It's very much your back, like you feel like you're working in a kitchen.
I just don't get the story. I just don't get it.
Okay.
I just don't. I feel like I don't know these characters.
How much have you watched?
Like 2 seasons.
Oh, that's anyway.
Right.
It's not really about the bear.
Right.
So, but the bear made me think about this. So, the concept of enjoying something so much that you want to have a career in it, and then getting so good at the thing that you enjoy so much that you have a career in, that you no longer do that thing.
I don't get it.
in the bear, he loves cooking so much he becomes a chef. Gets so unbelievably good at being a chef. He's like the best chef. They're like, he ran the best restaurant in America or whatever. That he's so good at it that he gets to a point where he's the head chef, and the head chef doesn't do any cooking.
I don't know. I sometimes think it's an ego thing, or like
Yeah.
a greed thing, or like a.
But,
it's a very business motivated sense
Yeah.
of mind. I think if you're truly good at something and love something, and you want to, you're not. I think it depends how much you want to monetize from it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't imagine doing something I love so much to the point. And I know he's still like designing the menu. He's still like has like a creative input into it, but he doesn't like it. Must take away some of the enjoyment out of it.
I don't know if it's like a progressional thing of like you feel like you've learned everything, so it's happy that you're happy.
You're
like,
passing it down. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I could relinquish that amount of control.
No, me neither.
Maybe I could actually.
Like,
I'd be like, yeah, you do that thing.
Yeah.
I'm quite good at delegating.
Yeah, I just like I can't imagine like maybe that's just my mentality. Maybe I'm not management material, if that makes sense. I'm more of a like a collaborator or whatever. But just it's an odd concept to me that you get so good at something that you don't get to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is, and I suppose it is that thing of like, well, they're inventing. If we're talking about cooking or anything, maybe they're doing it like in their spare time,
or
but
they're like they're such a good maybe. But
I
they're
think
like,
there's only so much that you can do of something that you truly love, and monetize from it without like it becoming a job.
Yeah.
Like I think that there's certain things that you should do for the sake of joy, and not for the
But like getting so good at like being a teacher that you're now the head teacher and you don't do any teaching.
Yeah.
And then getting so good at being an engineer that you're now somebody's manager. You're managing people instead of like...
Yeah.
It's wild to me.
It is a crazy concept, actually. I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
I've never thought, oh, well, you just give up the trade that you're really
especially,
good at.
I think the bear especially made me think about it because he's so good that he puts his sous chef in charge and lets her do everything, but really she was learning from him. But now he's not teaching her because he's not doing that. And
I think that maybe people just get to a point where they don't really need to do it all. I don't know. Maybe I don't have that mentality.
maybe,
I don't know.
but yeah, I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. I'm a little bit confused by it.
Yeah. Anyone who has done that, who has reached the top of their game, the peak of management, could you tell us what the appeal is? Could you explain it to us? Because
we need to.
Yeah.
I just want to understand from your point of view. Why you would stop doing the thing that you're so. But I suppose like from an athlete point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say you're an Olympian that's at the top of your game, and then you stop being an Olympian and you go on to like set up like a school or something. You're not doing the sport anymore, but you're teaching other people the sport, and maybe it's something about the taking it all and giving it back that people like about it.
I can get that because I suppose athletes generally have to retire much younger than people in other career things because they're pushing their bodies so much.
And can we just talk about the fact that most chefs are really mean people?
Yeah.
Why are you so mean, and why are you shouting at me?
Yeah, like as a teenage girl in a kitchen being reduced to near tears by a 40-odd-year-old man.
No, so the thing is, the chefs in my work where I had worked were most of them were female.
Right.
But they were just as fucking scary. They were screaming, bawling. One time, one of the girls, and she won't mind me saying this because I'm still friends with her, was so hungover and so raging about something, she slammed the microwave door shut so hard she broke it. And I'm like, sorry, and I'm supposed to wash the dishes after she's just screamed and bawled at me.
When I worked in a kitchen, it was a husband and wife that ran it every single day. A new domestic screaming and shouting, and we were all in the middle of it, and I'm just there like 15 years old, like, can I get the plates?
Chefs are scary people.
They are.
I'm like, why are you shouting?
Just
behave,
babes. It's not that serious.
We can communicate.
Especially in your little hometown restaurant that I was in anyway. It's not the Bear. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get it.
It was a soft play cafe.
Why are we acting like this is life or death?
No.
They're gonna get their toast day just
do you know what me and my sister did the other day? We went on to Google and Googled Gordon Ramsay insults and just read them back to each other. And then we FaceTimed my dad and we started telling them to my dad. And the three of us were all just sat on our phone laughing at Gordon Ramsay insults.
You're an idiot sandwich. Where's the lamb sauce?
But honestly, some of the things that have come out of that man's mouth, iconic.
Yeah.
What a guy.
I do like Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
He is an icon.
But yeah. I agree. I don't get it, but I'm sure that someone out there can explain it to us.
You tell us. If you know, tell us. We want to understand. We seek to
figure it out.
Yes. Okay, that's my brain unpicked.
Yeah.
Would you like to unpick your brain?
Well, there's a lot going on in my brain at the moment, Rose. I've not been sleeping well for the last 3 weeks because my brain has been active. You know that like thing?
You were activated.
Like, you know that thing where like your thoughts are like waking you up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like bolt upright or just like...
More, my thoughts are so like going that they wake me up and then I can't go back to sleep, so I'm up at like 5 a.m. just dotting about because I can't sleep because I'm thinking. And I'm not just thinking one thing. No. I'm thinking many.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot about work that has been put that in the bin. We're not going to talk about that. A lot of Hamilton has been in my brain because obviously I don't know if you've seen Rose doing the Hamilton trend. Fantastic work.
Thank you. I tried.
Honestly,
inspired by Zoe.
I did do it, but it did. It's not making it like it's not making it like a day because yours was phenomenal. That I was like,
can I just say, if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's on TikTok. My living room window, which is what I filmed that in front of, looks out onto the street and trying to time that. When there wasn't somebody stood at the bus stop, when there wasn't people walking past, when there wasn't a car.
I did mine in my bedroom. And the lighting was really off, and that's mostly my issue with it. I was like, I can't put that up because like there's just so much like. Anyway, that's not the point. Yours surpassed it. Yours was brilliant, and I was like, do you know what? Fair enough. But I've had Hamilton in my head constantly since just before those trends came about. I rewatched it.
Singing it mere minutes.
Yeah, no, it's been like a real issue. So there's been a lot about Hamilton, a lot about like lots of different stuff. I'm getting really excited about creativity again, so I'm going to create loads of stuff. The brain's been running so fast, it's hard to unpick it one singular thing because it has been like that's the only way I can explain my brain. But I did one day talk about, so one thing that did jolt me awake recently was teeth.
Oh no, I have a thing about teeth. I'm
scared.
I
don't know if you're going to enjoy this.
Okay.
And the people that I told about on the day, I was like, I've been up since 5 a.m. and they were like, all right. And I was like, and the concept of teeth has been in my head, and they were like, right. And I was like, if we could like take all the teeth from all the species in the world, what would that equate to in architecture? Like, would it be the size of the Taj Mahal? Like, would we make the Taj Mahal out of teeth, and that would use all of the Earth's teeth? Or because like sharks have like multiple rows of teeth and they like grow back and stuff, like that's mental. And then like we've got baby teeth and then we've got adult teeth.
And are tusks technically teeth?
I don't know. That's something to weigh out to the teeth people out there. Dentists get in touch. Animal dentists get in touch. Would you brush a tusk?
But you've also got teeth like whale teeth or bristles.
Right, so this is too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you actually sat down and thought about how many teeth exist in this world? Because it's terrifying. Why is there so many teeth? And like, why have we all got, like, the fact that we've all got different teeth, and like, what do you mean that we could like just take the whole Earth's teeth, and like, how much of the world would that cover if we just laid it out? If we laid it out,
like in a line of single teeth,
how many times would that go around the world?
Yeah.
Or like, if we try to make it in a blanket, like what would be the blanket size of those teeth, and like how do we equate that, and like where do they all go? Where are all the teeth?
Also, if you were to do that, think about the amount of people just talking all gummy.
Have you seen these are they're terrible, but the AI things of like, would you get into bed if it was this? And it's like, would you get into bed and it's candy floss and like what bed would you choose? Have you seen this?
I haven't seen. No.
It's ridiculous. And imagine that, but teeth. So you get in a bed full of teeth. Like I just, I'm like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand how we have so many things. Like, if you take teeth out of the question, we have lots of like. Think about how many shoes each individual person has, right? And then like think about how do we have that many shoes?
Yeah, like there's so many shoes, but there's only two shoes.
And then how does it cover such a tiny portion of the world? But like I have quite a fair amount of shoes, but like if we brought everyone I know's shoes and like into my house, how much of my house would that cover? But then when you take it into your house, it hardly... Like, I don't understand space awareness of things.
Yeah.
And, like... And what do you mean that we have so much teeth that it could build architecture? Like, it could be the size of something.
Yeah. And it would be big.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Do you know, I really can't be thinking about other people's teeth because there's never a moment of the day I'm not thinking about my own. I am constantly aware of my teeth? So I grind my teeth. I always have. I can tell when I'm doing it. Like there'll be times where I'm doing it more than normal, and I think now.
Have I made you aware of it? I'm so sorry.
No. I'm like, before you even started talking, like as soon as you mentioned teeth, I was like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about my teeth.
Yeah.
But like I wake up every morning and my first thought is my teeth because I can feel my.
That's crazy.
Well, not every, like it's not my first thought every morning if I've woken up thinking about something else, but like. I know from the minute I open my eyes before I've opened my eyes if I've been grinding my teeth.
Wow.
And just thinking about teeth a lot. Do people feel their teeth all the time? I can feel my teeth all the time.
I can't feel my teeth.
Like
out with the fact that your tongue's in your mouth. What do you mean, like in your gums or with your tongue? This is getting weird. Do you know what?
But you know, like
I think that I should have never brought this conversation.
Like
to the
you know
table.
how so we've spoken about this before. Sometimes you start to become aware of your fingernails.
Yes.
Like that, but my teeth.
Right, okay, I don't get that.
Right.
But
I get that all the time and I don't think that's good.
I'll be honest, I'm just concerned about the amount of teeth that's in the world, and what do you mean that I could make like a really long tooth chain necklace and like...
But think about like how many, like, and are we counting the teeth under the veneers or the veneers?
Well, the veneers aren't real.
Yeah,
so
but
give me the little chip teeth. Little nubs.
I don't like the little nubs.
I think I've opened a can of worms here that I probably shouldn't have opened.
No, but I just don't know why, if you've got perfectly fine teeth, why you would inflict little nubs on yourself.
Listen, actually, I think that is a wider conversation of like, I actually really like natural teeth.
Same.
And like, it's really, like, I saw a bunch of pictures of celebrities like in the 90s with their natural teeth, and I was like, oh, how much nicer was it when we all had like personal features?
Yeah, do whatever makes you happy, right? But I just don't think that all the teeth in your mouth should be the same shape and size.
No, I think my teeth are cute and they're wonky.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so are mine. I've got like odd patches on my teeth, but they're my teeth.
I don't want to talk about teeth too much because I think it will destroy you.
How many times have we said the word teeth?
Teeth counter.
Ding, ding, ding.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I think that we should move on, but I would just like everyone to know that my brain's running really fast and there's lots to unpick. So instead, you got a weird story about teeth. Yeah.
Nice. Do you feel a little bit like it's been unpicked, or
I have
we just made it worse?
A lot. You've asked questions that I didn't put into it, so I'm actually going to have to. I'm going to have to go back and revisit this at some point.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. So expect more teeth chat at some point.
Okay. Just know they're always on my mind.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Cool. So what we're going to move on to, if you're ready.
I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Little book of something. Little book of something. Little book of something. Hey. 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 I think we've lost our minds today. So we're going to touch on a little bit of psychology.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy, no kind of major theorists or anything like that. I thought we could start at a very basic concept. Well, it's not a basic concept, but I think we could start at something that we've probably all thought about: nature versus nurture. I don't know if you have thought about nature versus nurture, but it does encompass quite a lot of my brain. Excuse me. So we couldn't possibly dive into all of it. I just thought that we could maybe talk around some of the perspectives within nature versus nurture, and just kind of perspectives in psychology, a couple of theorists, and then I've got a wee question for you as per usual.
Excellent.
Okay, so
I've got something in my eye. Bear with me a second. 'Tis it.
Perfect. Okay, so do you know the nature versus nurture debate?
Yes, I do. I am familiar with this one.
Great. I feel like we're all relatively familiar with nature versus nurture, but in case you are not, it's this idea of, are our personality traits, are our behaviours, are our mannerisms, are the things that make us who we are a product of nature? So we are born this way, it's through our genetics, it's through our heritage, it's something that it is what it is. It's set before you're even predicting it. Like that is it, right? And then on the other side you've got nurture, and that's the idea that your external environment impacts who you are as a person and can change certain elements. Now, back in the day, you and me, baby, do you know what I mean? It used to be a big debate. It used to be a very much you're on one side or you're on the other, and it very much wasn't it was very much a debate. I think now within modern psychology, it's very much we are aware that it is both that encompass it. It can't solely be one. They have influence and factors on each other. You might be one way biologically, but an external factor can throw that out and things like that. That's probably not a great explanation of it, but we're going to dive a little bit more into some of the kind of approaches to psychology and where that falls in the kind of nature and nurture thing of it. So we've got your biological approach. Now, where do you think the biological approach would fall in the nature and nurture vibe?
Could it be the nature side?
Aren't you a smart cookie? So the biological approach, as you might think, focuses on genetic, hormonal, neurochemical explanations of behaviour. There's loads of interesting biological approaches to all of psychology.
Yeah.
A lot of it when they're like thinking about trauma and stuff. So when I was learning, my postgrad video that I had done was about generational trauma.
Yeah.
Because I think generational trauma is really, really interesting, but there's like all these behavioural approaches to generational trauma, of this idea of like, so there was this one study that I had read that people who were at Auschwitz genetically had a different DNA component. I can't remember this in and out. I'd read it really in depth at the time. Had a different, like, one of their genetic components and DNA strands had changed over time. So people that had that DNA strand from ancestors who were in Auschwitz were more likely to develop a mental illness. I think it was schizophrenia or something like that. So that was like a biological explanation to someone's potential behaviours. And I think that's really interesting.
Absolutely.
Love it. So we've got like your biological approaches. We've then got psychoanalysis, which is our very much our Freudian view of the world. Do you know our man Freud?
I've heard of him.
He's an interesting guy.
He's got some interesting opinions.
We should dive into Freud one day. I'm
we
really
absolutely
into
should.
the absolute nonsense that came from Freud. So that's innate drives of sex and aggression, that kind of nature part. So it's a kind of both, whereas social upbringing during childhood is the nurture part. So now look at childhood as nurture, and then as you get older, sex and aggression is that kind of nature element of who you are as a person. You've then got in the middle cognitive psychology. So this is the innate mental structures such as schemas, perceptions, and memory constantly changing by the environment, which is really interesting because I really like cognitive psychology. Again, we could go into that in more detail, but I really like the stuff about the brain. So, and the brain development, and when we first are kind of born, the main parts of our brain that's functioning is the amygdala and the hippocampus, which is a lot to do with the drive of memory and emotions and things like that. And when we get really impacted by any kind of fight, flight, or freeze kind of scenario, whether it's deep trauma or whether it's just something that activates that amygdala struggles to process those memories. So then that's why a lot of people don't remember things that have happened in events, because their amygdala is so focused on fighting the kind of emotional response that it can't process the memory response. I don't know if you were aware of that. Another boring fact from my exciting things about the brains.
An interesting fact. Don't
Thank
downplay
you.
your facts.
So then you've got that one that's kind of in the middle. You've then got humanism. I don't know as much about humanism as other kind of approaches, but this is, have you ever heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
I've heard of Maslow. I don't know why I've heard of Maslow.
Maslow's done loads of stuff, but he's got a lovely little triangle that talks about the Maslow hierarchy of needs.
I think this might be a good place thing that I might have picked up.
Maybe. So Maslow emphasised basic physical needs. Society influences a person's self-concept, so he's more towards that nurture side. And then you've got behaviourism, and behaviourism is all behaviour is learned from the environment through conditioning. So that's your likes of, remember I was talking about the Bandura Bobo doll or whatever. I don't know if that was on the podcast. I think it was. I don't know if it made the episode, but basically Bandura had done this experiment with children where there was a big doll and one adult went into the room and punched the doll and was like beating the doll up, and then another one went in and was really nice to the doll, and then they looked at what the kids had learned from that, and the kids that were in the room that was more aggressive might have been more likely to be aggressive than the ones that weren't, because of the learned behaviour that you can treat it like that. So that's our general scale of approaches when it comes to nature nurture. So what I want to talk about is there's two kind of big kind of theorists on each side of it. Kind of want to talk about them a little bit, and then I'm going to dive into the questioning, if that makes sense. So firstly, I want to talk about John Locke. John Locke was I feel like we've spoke about John Locke before, but maybe we haven't. But he was a philosopher. He was an English philosopher.
Right, this is going to sound random, and was he played by Tom Hardy in a film?
I don't know.
I don't think I've seen the film, but I'm sure.
No idea.
No, I think I could be wrong. Tom Hardy is in a film called Locke, and I'm sure he plays some sort of psychologist, but it could be like I might be wrong.
It might be. We'll have a wee look.
Anyway, I feel like I'm wrong, but yeah.
So John Locke was an English philosopher, and he was on the nurture side of things. So he had this fundamental belief that what made us was our environment. There was no way that we could possibly have any kind of genetic component that kind of made us who we are. It has to be all the external factors. So he had this concept, and if I mess this up, sorry, called tabula rasa. So that was suggested that like it kind of define. Hold on, I've messed all of that up. I'm going to go back to it. So
rewind.
That was just a meow. So his concept of tabula rasa, which was translated to blank slate. So he believed that we were all born with this blank slate. We were all born with nothing. We know nothing. There's no knowledge. There's no this. So you can't predetermine someone's experience because they've come out as a blank slate. Because we had no experiences and no knowledge, that had to be formed through sensory output. So it had to come from our external world. We had to learn behaviours from our external world. We could only who we became had to be a product of nurture. But on the other side of this, we have Francis Galton, who has been believed to kind of be not the founder of the theory nature versus nurture, but one of the first people to start referencing it. So from my research, I'd seen that Shakespeare had mentioned it, someone else had mentioned it, but they had never mentioned it as a versus. So they had kind of mentioned it like nature and nurture. No one had ever looked at it as like they're against each other.
That's interesting that it started off as like a pair. And then went versus, and now it's coming back.
So it was almost like, I don't know how much they thought about it, but it was like nature dash nurture. It was never like nature versus nurture. And I don't know if it was just not as much thought went into it, but this time period of kind of nature versus nurture then blew up. Like it became a massive thing, kind of off the back of the stuff that Francis Galton was looking at. So he was very much on the side of nature, and he thought that our characteristics were determined through our genes. And to further determine this and to basically be like, I am right, he done a study with twins. Now we all know that twins is a very, very popular way to study human behaviour, and ethically, for the most part, it has been done very, very wrong. Obviously we've got the stories of twins who were taken apart, triplets who were taken apart to see that very thing of nature versus nurture, of if we have the same, they have the exact same genes, but we put them in a different element, are they going to be, and actually 9 times out of 10 it comes back that it is both. I would presume it's both. Anyway, so he did a survey on twins to kind of understand what are the similarities that they possess, and and was like, this is genetic. He was heavily on the side that if anything is happening from a nurture point of view, it's happening after they're adults. Like, it's happening later in life, but fundamentally in terms of like their intelligence level, and if they're in the exact same education setting and that exact same thing, genetically they should pretty much be at the same point. Anything else that happens is like a later in life thing, I think, from what I read. That's interesting. It was kind of hard to understand all the different readings that I was on it, but it was this idea of like, it's nature. So now this is where we started getting into my little thoughts on it, not the thingies. I think that reality TV is a big experiment of nature versus nurture. They put people in control. I think that reality TV is basically just psychology experiments nowadays that people are signing up for free.
But they have no idea that that's what they're doing.
They know that they're going into a controlled environment, but instead of by psychologists doing it, it's producers that are doing it.
All for like
entertainment
without
purposes.
the intention of
did you ever watch The Secret Life of 4-year-olds? And 5-year-olds?
No, I've seen clips, but
so for anyone that hasn't seen it, it was a thing on Channel 4 where they brought a couple of psychologists in and sat them in a room, and then they got a bunch of different kids from around the country at the same age and put them into set up environments. So it was basically a psychology experiment. So it'd be things like seeing if they share, seeing if they're this, and then they would talk around the psychological elements of it. That was basically a nature versus nurture program, in my opinion. They were seeing, is it the way that these kids have been brought up, or is it the external factors that we're now, is it the genetics that they possess, or is it that we're just and like everyone has at it. I'm like, I think that everyone really enjoys reality TV because it is a psychological experience.
Do you know what, in the same vein, I wonder if that's why we enjoy Taskmaster.
Because
that's pretty much like a psychological
so I think reality TV, now I was looking at sources about it, and I don't know if I just wasn't wording it right. I couldn't find a lot that was really going into the emphasis of basically reality TV is psychological experiments, but that's my humble opinion. So I think that it's like they kind of manipulate the external environment and push people in a specific direction to see, is it the environment that impacts behaviour? Because would you behave like that if that was not environmental?
But really what they should do is run it twice. And push people in a certain direction and then leave the others to it.
There's So it's very interesting, right? So my question is, if you were to make it, and you kind of started to touch on it, if you were to make a TV show to discuss nature versus nurture, how would you go about it? So what would, or even not even a TV show, just how would you, based on all these different approaches and where you believe you sit in the nature nurture debate, what would you do to test that? What would you do to test, is it nature or is it nurture? Are we innately born to be this way, or are we impacted by the environment around us, and how would you test that? If we take away ethics.
Oh, that is a tough one.
Because there's like horrible things that have been done. Like I've seen some horrible things that people have done. Like there was this little girl that I think her dad or something like that just locked her in a room and just never let her see the light of day until like they discovered it. And I can't remember if he was doing it as an experiment or what, but like there was a shock experiment as well. That one was really, where they like put people in a box and told them that they were going to, if they clicked the button, they were going to shock a person. And like put pressure, like the way that I think that we're maybe a little bit more ethical now, but even at that, we're just putting it we're just painting it with a different brush and calling it that, because I think that reality TV basically is the exact same thing.
Absolutely. I don't know what I would do. I feel like I would run things twice, but with like
you would add in variables and stuff.
But in terms of how I would do that, I don't know, because you can't get the same person to do things twice, because if they're gonna remember the conditions of the first
I think
thing,
the first one would have to be unconditioned. And the second one would need to be the conditioned element.
Or you would have to get two separate groups of people, but kind of match them up to like background and like upbringing and all the external factors. I don't know what for some reason when you were talking, Big Brother was coming in my head of like just putting all these people in. But I don't know if that's the best way to do it, of having them all in the same place at the same time.
Is the stress response that these people have in these environments, is that environmental or is that just genetic?
Yeah.
Is your stress response genetic? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it is a very combined approach. Like, I think that you can do lots and lots of things to the environment, but a little element comes down to genes. Like, you could be more predetermined to be a certain way. Like, you can be more predetermined to have a mental illness because of your genetics, but it doesn't mean that you're going to have the mental illness.
Yeah.
But an environmental factor could impact it happening or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it is interesting to think about, like, in terms of just daily things. Like, I will react to certain things in the same way as maybe my parents do. But is that because that's a learned behaviour that I've seen them, that I have that reactions to things and I've learned to have that kind of reaction, or is that just because genetically we're all
that's
the
why
same?
I think the twin stuff is really interesting, or like putting people, like, for example, me and my sister grew up in the same environment. We are two very different people that tend to have very different responses to things, and we deal with things very different. There's like some similarities, but for the most part we're very, very opposite. And how,
same,
but I'm like, so is that down to our genes? Like, because our genetics will be slightly different. Yeah. Because our DNA is not like the exact same.
Yeah. Well, also, me and my sister are very different people as well, but we have different dads. So, but we're like brought up not in the exact same conditions, but in the same house for the most part. But like, is that so I think that I would do some sort of like very Big Brotherish. I'd definitely do some sort of reality show, but I think that I would need to think about the elements that go into it of like, are they on an island, are they on this? I think I would like it to be very uncontrolled. Like, I don't think that we should put too much pressure on the environment to create it. But like, Hunger Games is just a psychology experiment. Very true. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what ways can you put people under immense pressure to see how they're going to react to a situation? And is that genetic, or is that just the environment that's created around them? And I think it is. I think a combination of both. But But I think I would run 2 experiments and have one quite controlled and the other one
less controlled. Yeah. To kind of change about the variables slightly. But I don't fully know, like what kind of tasks I would, or like how I would interfere, or what. I don't know. I think I would do something like, I have to get different family members to set up a party for the same person to see how they manage to stress on it. So, that is fair. So put like the dad's side of the family here and the mum's side of the family here to make the party for a child. And watch the behaviour of both sides of the family. That is quite interesting. And then watch like the child then make a party for someone and see how the child then reacts and see what elements that is, and like that could be quite a fun way to do it. That is very interesting. Like, put them in a situation where they have to organise something for somebody, but you're very much going this side of the family and this side of the family for one person. That would be my worst nightmare. It would be awful, but like it'd be interesting to see like how and maybe you do put in some variables like someone forgot to bring the birthday cake, or the cat, like, and see how both families react. Because maybe it's looking at like, and maybe asking the independent person how they would react in that situation, and then seeing like, what is that genetic, or is that like, do they behave like their gran who they didn't live with? They didn't live with their gran, but their response would be the exact same. I feel like you would have to give the same, like, rather than just asking how they would react. I feel like you would have to simulate the same environment. So it might not have to be a birthday party, but do you know what I mean? Like, maybe if you look at it on that side of, or you just, I think it would need to go longer. Like, it would need to be like, you have to get as many family members as possible involved, because then it's a question of, well, am I like my great gran who I spent 5 minutes with twice a year, or am I, that would be genetic. That's not a learned behaviour that I've got from her. Like, that's just that if our genes are similar, then I've inherited that from her. But so that is very interesting. I like that.
Okay, I've got a would you rather for you.
I do not, so I'm not
That's-
happy to answer your question.
That's all good. Right, where is my would you rather? Here we go. Okay. Would you rather spontaneously,
Combust, yes.
I think we'd all want that, but would you rather become a Disney adult? So like the spirit of
Right.
Disney just overtakes your whole life and becomes like a major part of your personality. Maybe not quite your whole personality, but like
Just come up with a would you rather.
excellent, a very prominent part of your personality. So like when people think of Zoe, they go Disney adult,
Right.
and then other parts of your personality, or have absolutely no personality whatsoever.
No personality whatsoever.
Really? So like have like when people say Zoe and they just go, because no one has any sort of like they can't connect or bond with you in any way.
I suppose I maybe would want to be a Disney adult, but I just don't think I could deal with it. No, that's not fair. At least it's something. No,
Yeah.
I think I'd be the Disney adult. Reluctantly.
Yeah. In the words of Hamilton, if you stand for nothing, what do
What
you fall
stand
for?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I think I would have to be and to be honest, I think I'm like a closeted Disney adult a wee bit.
You
so
think?
Probably.
You don't give me that vibes.
Yeah, but I think like I wouldn't be at Disney with the ears and all that on. But
No.
I do consume a lot of Disney related stuff.
That's fair.
So
But I wouldn't say it's your, like, at this point, your personality to the extent I hear you talk about it. An awful
yeah,
lot.
no,
Yeah.
but I think that it could be.
Yeah. Well, you're going to
I'm
be. if
gonna
you
be
don't
now.
want-
What would you do?
I would have to be Disney adult as well. Because,
Fair.
like, the thought of having no personality whatsoever, like, you can't make much conversation with people or meaningful conversation with people because you've just got nothing about you.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we'll need to be Disney adults
Yeah. Disney adults together.
then. Tragic.
Yeah, that is tragic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so this one I've actually ripped from another podcast. So
Okay.
did you follow Diversity through their career or anything like that?
I knew of them. I wouldn't say I was a
Okay.
fan, but like
Yeah, I've seen them live and stuff. Unreal. So Jordan, Ashley, and Perry
I
have got
have
a podcast.
I see clips of them.
It's
Yeah, they're
so
funny.
So I've been
Yeah.
listening to their podcast quite a lot recently, and their whole podcast is based around Would You Rather's.
The whole
The
thing.
whole thing.
I like that.
So you should really listen to it.
the
'cause
whole time.
the whole thing is Would You Rather. So I'm like, I can't think of too many Would You Rathers anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm probably ripping them from that podcast.
Right.
But this one I thought was a good one.
Okay.
Would you rather that every time you entered a room, they rolled out a red carpet for your entrance, or every time you entered the room, a song played just about you? So like there would be like
About me, like it's not like a theme
yeah, it
song.
would be like a Zoe's entering da 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 da
Like,
da 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 da.
like, you know how kings used to have a trumpet.
Yeah, no, like it'd be like
yeah.
a little song.
I got to have the song.
Or a roll of rolled out carpet.
I think the carpet would get old. Is it the same song every time?
Yeah, it's now your theme tune.
But like it's an identifier of like
Yeah.
this is me, because anyone could walk a red carpet, but you're gonna know it's me if I yeah.
I would also do the song.
Yeah,
'cause
I'm doing the song.
The maintenance of having to roll the carpet back up's quite embarrassing.
Yeah, but like if somebody's rolling it out,
Yeah, but what, you've just got to have someone with you every time you enter a room to roll out your red
Yeah, 'cause,
carpet
like,
and roll it back up. That's slave material. I don't like that.
that is. And also like what if you're just like, I quite frequently go into rooms and then go, what did I come in here for? And then look around and then go back out into the next room to try and figure out why I went into that room, and it would just be a faff.
Yeah.
But although having said that, if I did that every time I was going back and forth into the rooms, it would be like an overwhelming like din
Well,
of,
my thing is I think I would eventually tune out my own theme tune.
yeah.
So I'm quite good at like, once I am aware of a noise, I'm quite good at like tuning it out and not recognising
Are
it's there.
you? I
Yeah.
wish I had that talent. I can't get like, if I hear a ticking clock, I'm done.
No, not fair. Like there's certain ones, but like
Right.
like ticking clocks are just an irritant of mine
Yeah.
anyway. But like, for example, if the radio is on, I can tune that out. Like I won't even notice that it's on.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm quite good with like tuning out music kind of thing. So I think that, I think I could definitely cope with that more than
Yeah.
I could cope out with the
I just
red
think
carpet.
it'd be quite fun as well. Like, I want to know now.
Like,
what
could you
my
imagine
theme
if you were
tune would
rocking
be.
up to jury duty and he rolled out the red carpet? That would be too much.
Yes, but also you're rocking up to jury duty. You're meant to be anonymous, and
Someone's
what if
singing
you're
your song.
convicting a murderer? And they're like, do 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 do, Rose Ross.
Well, That's just so we're going to be Disney adults that have theme tunes. That's fitting.
Yeah, and hope to God we never get Judy G.
But that brings us to, I think, a pretty perfect ending.
Yes. I enjoyed that.
That was good. Thank you very much for listening or watching. I don't know why I've all of a sudden fallen into quite a monotone voice. Thank you very much for listening, watching, Anyway, cheers for watching. If you like this, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. The more comments, the better. It's really lovely. It's really nice been having some comments recently and engaging with some people on platforms.
Even some hate ones.
Yep, we love the hate ones. Please
keep
hate
them
on
coming.
us. These two things shouldn't have a podcast anyway.
Thing one and thing two.
Yep, so if you could engage with our social media platforms as well, I will link all of that down below. Please come and check out our content on there. Hopefully we've got some exciting things coming up. Yes. That we haven't planned yet, but we're going to plan. As I said, I've made my own socials now that I'm going to
check it out. It's cute.
Going to post on a little bit more often because my actual personal account, it scares me to post on that. So
I get you.
Anyway, that was such a long-winded outro. Catch you later. I love you. Bye.
Bye.